Welcome to this space of stillness, where the worries of a long day are gently laid down, and your soul can breathe once more. Tonight, as darkness falls across the world, as the city gradually drifts into slumber, I invite you to step into a deeply personal moment, the moment your heart meets your Creator. There is no rush, no striving required. Simply be present and open your heart. Dear friend, I know, today may have been a long day. Maybe you smiled before others, while inside you carried things you could not name. Maybe you tried to be strong, yet at times you felt weak. Perhaps you prayed in quiet hope for a miracle. But time passed and you began to wonder, does God hear me? Does He still remember me? I want you to know one thing, right now. As you listen to these words, you are not alone. The one who fashioned you is still there, closer than you think. And tonight, He invites you to come to Him, not for judgment, not for questioning, but for comfort, healing, and lifting of your soul. Night is not just a time for sleep. Night is also a sacred time for the Lord to work deeply in the heart of a person. When all the sounds outside gradually fade, the voice of God becomes clearer in the heart of those who seek Him. And tonight, He is softly whispering, I am your shepherd. I know your weariness. I see your tears. Come and rest in me. That invitation is not theoretical. It is a promise from Psalm chapter 23, one of the most powerful and deeply meaningful prayers ever written. Not just to read as a lesson, but to live in, to trust, to feel with your whole heart and soul. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Those opening words are not just a declaration. They are assurance. They are a hug around your soul in the moments when things seem about to fall apart. When you feel no one understands you. When you are afraid of the future. Or when you lie awake in darkness with an overthinking mind. That verse is the faint light guiding you out of the maze of doubt and worry. Tonight, you do not have to fight alone. You have a shepherd. He does not only walk by your side during the daylight, but watches over you when night comes. He not only leads you through green pastures, but holds your hand when you walk through the darkest valley of your life. He does not only speak in thunder on the mountaintop, but whispers gently in each breath you exhale in the quiet of night. Dear one, do not hurry past these moments. This is not just the beginning of a video. This is a door leading you into a sacred place, where you will no longer feel abandoned, where you are embraced with eternal love, where you can let go of every burden without fear of judgment. Let me walk with you through tonight's journey. Let this prayer become an embrace for your soul. Let the promise of Psalm chapter 23 become your shelter through every storm of life. Whatever your circumstances, illness, loss, loneliness, anxiety, or hurt, I believe that God is preparing something very special for you. Not tomorrow, but right here, tonight. Do not fear if your tears fall. God is gathering each drop. Do not worry if your mind is weary. He knows the way to soothe it. Do not hesitate if your heart holds things you cannot say aloud. He understands even what you cannot speak. And if there is one thing you need to do in this moment, it is this: let go. Let go of every burden. Let go of every unanswered question. Let go of every fear that clings to you throughout the day. And open your heart to receive the peace that comes from none other than the one who created you. Close your eyes, or simply breathe out gently. Imagine you are lying not on an old creaky bed but on a lush green pasture. The night breeze drifts through your hair, the gentle sound of a creek nearby. And right beside you, there is someone watching over, the shepherd of your soul. He smiles. He knows you are here. And he rejoices because you have come. You do not have to be the strongest to be loved. You do not have to be the holiest to be heard. You only need to be yourself. Tired is okay. Weak is okay. Because in the arms of God, in your weakest moments, He is at His strongest. And tonight, He wants you to know, you are not abandoned. You are not invisible. And you are not alone. So stay with me, don't walk away. Let your soul be guided by the prayer that is about to rise. And when that whisper touches your heart, let it do what only divine love can do: heal. Dear friend, in this quiet late night hour, let your heart pause for a moment to listen to a truth that can change everything. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Not someone else, not people of the world, not you having to muster strength to protect yourself, but the one, Savior of the universe. Faithful shepherd, gentle yet mighty, He is the one holding you. I invite you now to take a few minutes to reflect slowly on that. The Lord is my shepherd. Not was, not will be if I get better. But right now, as you sit there perhaps with tired, stinging eyes, perhaps with your mind swirling, or your heart ready to collapse, God is still holding you. And because He is the shepherd, you shall not want. Have you ever seen a real shepherd in the fields? They do not just lead the flock, drop them off at the pen, and walk away. A true shepherd knows each sheep by name, knows which one is weak, which one is stubborn, which one needs carrying when its feet are weary. And regardless of how dark the night, how cold the wind, or how the enemy lurks in the shadows, the shepherd stands his ground. He guards, he sacrifices, he loves the flock with his very life. That is also the image God wants you to see of him. He is not distant, not cold, not indifferent. He is a living shepherd in every moment of your life, quietly, patiently, persistently holding your soul, even when you do not realize. And I want to tell you this: if tonight you feel lost, lost in your mind, lost in your faith, lost among tangled decisions, know that the shepherd is seeking you. And he will not stop until he embraces you home. You might ask, but am I worthy? I have strayed too far. I have done many things that made him sad. I have broken promises. I have fallen. My friend, the shepherd does not abandon the sheep because it is dirty. The shepherd does not become angry when a sheep wanders away. On the contrary, he leaves the 99 to search for the one, that very sheep that has lost its way. And when he finds you, he does not rebuke or reject, but lifts you on his shoulders, brings you to a safe place, and throws a party celebrating your return. That is unconditional love. That is the nature of the one who guards your soul. So do not believe you need to be perfect to be loved. You only need to be honest. Be honest with God right now. Are you tired? Are you anxious about something? Are you feeling weak and unable to face life? If so, then you are exactly in the right place, at exactly the right time, to let go. And to let the shepherd care for you. Imagine, you are lying on soft grass. Under the gentle moonlight, you no longer carry burdens. You no longer have to prop yourself up alone. Because the shepherd is there. He knows whether you are hungry or full, weary or strong, hurt or hiding something. And he not only knows, he acts. He will feed you, protect you, anoint you, and guard you from all evil. There is a sentence I deeply cherish. The shepherd never falls asleep. When you go to bed, he stays awake. When you are unsure of what tomorrow holds, he has already prepared the path ahead. When you are falling apart inside and no one sees it, he sees every broken piece, and he cherishes each one. So tonight, as you hear these words, I invite you to let your heart soften. Stop blaming yourself for all the things you could not do. Stop forcing your mind to figure everything out. And instead, simply believe that you are not alone. You are not the only one walking through a dark valley. And you are certainly not the only one the shepherd cares for. There are millions just like you, and tonight, you are wrapped in the promise that you shall not want. No matter what your current situation is, whether you are struggling financially, alone in a cold room, hurting in your body or wounded in your heart, you are still being watched over. Let this truth flow into your heart like warm water. The Lord is my shepherd. You are known, you are called by name, you are kept. And tonight, as you are in the presence of the shepherd, you do not need to rush off anywhere. You just need to stay, breathe deeply, and allow your soul to rest completely. Dear one, if life has felt like a long, dry desert, then the presence of the shepherd is the only shade for a soul longing to rest. And if your heart is a small house that has not seen light in many days, then the promise, I am your shepherd, is the lamp being lit in the night. Maybe you have tried hard, tried to do everything well, tried to be strong, tried not to let anyone see your tears. But have you ever felt, the harder you try, the more exhausted you become? That is because you were never meant to carry everything alone. You were made to be led, not to fight through it all by yourself. The shepherd did not create you to wander aimlessly through life. He longs to lead you, step by step, like a father guiding his child through unfamiliar paths. Not with pressure, not with haste, but with patience, gentleness, and unfailing love. When you do not know whether to turn left or right, he whispers in your heart, "Follow me, do not be afraid, I know the way." When you feel unworthy, he says, "You are mine, I chose you, not because you are perfect, but because I love you." And when you want to give up, to disappear from everything, he draws you close and says, "Do not give up, I am here." You may feel lost in this world, but you are never lost from his sight. The shepherd does not just watch from afar. He walks beside you, listens to your every sigh, pays attention to the slightest stirrings in your heart, even the ones you cannot put into words. He is the one who knows when you need to pause, when you need to be led forward, and when all you need is to be held. It is easy to think that God only acts through dramatic miracles, a disease healed, a financial breakthrough, a big door opening. But you know what? Sometimes, the greatest miracle is simply a peaceful night, a dreamless sleep, waking up with a heart that feels just a little lighter, a deep breath you did not have to force. These are the small things only the shepherd understands, and he never dismisses your quiet needs. Are you in need of encouragement? He is sending you this word. Are you looking for a sign? This is the sign. Are you longing to hear a gentle voice whisper, "Everything will be okay"? Listen closely, because tonight, that is your answer. Your shepherd never leaves you. No matter how far you have drifted, no matter how numb your heart has grown, he walks with you still, quietly, patiently, and never stops waiting. God does not love you because you do everything right. He loves you even when you have done nothing at all. And that very love is what will lift you from the pit of exhaustion and place you in green pastures, where you can live as you were created to live, a small soul, fully and forever loved. Do not fear if you do not know what tomorrow will bring. Your shepherd does. Do not tremble if the path ahead looks dim. Your shepherd has gone before you and made a way. Do not doubt if your faith feels too small, because even when your faith is weak, he is the one who carries you on his shoulders and keeps walking for you. Allow yourself to believe that tonight could be the beginning of something new. Not because you changed, but because you returned to the arms of the shepherd. And when that happens, you will see something miraculous. You do not need to conquer the world. You just need to let the shepherd fight for you. You do not need to understand everything. You only need to trust that he will never lead you wrong. You do not need to know the purpose behind every pain. You just need to know that even pain, when placed in the hands of the shepherd, can become peace. Dear friend, we are about to enter a time of prayer, but before that happens, take just a few quiet seconds to say something simple to God, straight from your heart. Maybe something like, "I am so tired. Lord, please hold me." Or, "I do not know what to do anymore. Please lead me." Or even just a whisper, "I need you." And I believe, the moment you whisper it, the shepherd hears, and he will begin to do what no one else can: heal you, comfort you, and bring you back to the safest place of all, his everlasting, unchanging arms of love. Beloved, once your soul is reassured that a shepherd is always present, the next thing you need is not more strength to fight. It is a true place of rest. And the Bible says, "He makes me lie down in green pastures, he leads me beside still waters." Close your eyes for a moment. Do not think, just imagine. A vast meadow, covered in soft, living green, no honking cars, no missed calls, no one demanding anything from you. Just peace covering everything. Above you, an open sky. Beneath you, cool, tender grass. All around you, the breath of nature, not hurried, not crowded, not pressured. And there, you lie down. You do not need to do anything. No striving, no pressure. Just simply, rest. Maybe you have grown too familiar with being busy, always needing to do something. Always needing to try harder, to be more perfect, to endure a little more. But God, your shepherd, does not ask you to be strong in front of him. He only asks you to lie down. Because rest is also an act of faith. Do you know this? A sheep only lies down when it feels completely safe, no longer afraid, no longer hungry, no longer pestered by flies or threatened by predators. And to make that happen, the shepherd must do so much: stay watchful, find the right pasture, drive away danger, tend to every wound. Only when the sheep knows it is protected, provided for, and loved, does it dare to rest. You are just the same. You can only truly rest when you know you are in safe hands. And tonight, I want you to know, those hands are God's hands. The hands that placed the sun in the sky. The hands that parted the sea for his people to cross. The hands that healed the blind, lifted the lame, and embraced the outcast. Those same hands are now resting gently on your forehead, like the soft night breeze, whispering to you, "Rest now, my beloved, I am watching over you." I know that deep down, you may be thinking, "But I have so many worries. I cannot rest yet. I have debts to pay. My loved ones are sick. I have unfinished business." And all of that, God sees it. He is not asking you to forget it. He is simply inviting you to set it down, not forever. Just for this moment. A moment long enough for your soul to breathe. To recover. To remember, you are not the one holding the universe together. He is. You do not have to hold everything in your own hands. Some things, truly, were never meant to be under your control. But thankfully, they have always been under the loving care of the shepherd. And that is why, tonight, you can let yourself sink into the green pasture of grace. You do not have to deserve to lie down. You do not have to succeed to be led beside still waters. You only need to be a child of the shepherd. Do you know something? Still waters do not overwhelm you. They are not loud. They do not rush. They do not demand. They simply whisper. Gently, softly. Close enough for your soul to hear. Deep enough for your soul to be restored. That is the place God is leading you to, right now. You did not find it on your own. You do not need to know the way. He leads you. And if you quiet your heart, not chasing every thought, not getting swept away by the outside noise, you will begin to sense that something is shifting. Not all your problems will be solved in this moment. But the most important thing is happening. God is restoring your soul through rest. You are weary, and He knows. That is why tonight, He does not ask you to do anything. He does not require you to prove your faith. He only invites you to lie down, breathe, and let Him lead you beside still waters. Dear one, if there is ever a moment in your day when you are truly allowed to let go, it is right now. When night has wrapped the world in silence. When all the noise outside has come to a stop. When it is just you, your soul, and the shepherd. Tonight, God is not leading you to some far-off place. He is not asking you to climb a mountain or cross a valley to find Him. He is simply bringing you to a quiet stream. Nothing grand. Nothing dazzling. Just a gentle stream, reflecting the moonlight like the tender embrace of a loving father. And there, in a place with no demands, no accusations, no pressure or judgment, you are finally allowed to lay down what you have carried for far too long. You do not have to say anything. You do not need to explain, to justify why you are hurting, or why you no longer feel like you are enough. God does not need your reasons. He just wants you, close enough for Him to place His hand upon your head. Quiet enough for you to hear Him whisper, "I am here, I will not leave you. I know there are wounds you have forgotten you carry. Sadness that sleeps so deeply in your heart that it no longer cries out, but still weighs you down. And sometimes, only in the quietest of moments do they rise again, slipping into your breath, your heartbeat, reminding you that you have not truly rested in a long time. But tonight, beside these still waters, you are allowed to let go. Bit by bit. As if you were removing worn-out shoes after a long journey. You can now open the backpack of your mind, the one you have carried every single day. Filled with worry, fear, blame, confusion, and unnamed sorrow. One by one, you gently unpack. No rush, no pressure. Maybe you do not even know what to call each burden, that is okay. It is enough that you know they have made you tired. And then, release them. Let each one drift into the stream. Watch them dissolve into the clear water, carried away without judgment. Without resistance. This water does not condemn you for being weak. It does not remind you of what you have not accomplished. It simply holds you, cool, kind, and as light as air, taking every burden you surrender into its healing flow. Because the still waters God leads you to are not ordinary waters. They are waters of healing, of forgiveness, of love that never asks you to earn it. You do not have to be strong tonight. You do not have to understand everything. You do not have to explain why it hurts so much. God already knows. And that is why He brought you here. So you could stop running. Stop striving. Stop holding yourself together. Just to sit beside his waters, and finally, breathe again, like it is the first breath after a long storm. Imagine your feet stepping into the water. At first, it might feel strange. You are not used to touching peace. But then, the coolness begins to soak into your skin, drift deep into your soul, like a gentle voice saying, "You are okay, I am here." And the miracle is, you believe it. You do not try to believe. Faith simply arrives, like a reflex of the soul when it is placed in the right hands. You begin to feel your tears fall. But tonight, they are not falling from pain. They are falling from relief. Because finally, you have found a place where you do not have to be strong. Finally, there is someone who understands all the things you have never dared to say. And in that release, you know, you are being restored. Your soul does not need to be healed all at once. But it is coming back to life. It is slowly unfurling from its fear. Opening, like a wildflower after the rain. Basking in the light of grace. No effort needed. Just presence. Just permission to stay, beside the still waters. Beside the shepherd. Tonight, you do not need a long prayer. You do not need to know what to say to God. Just place your hand over your heart. Close your eyes, and whisper, "Lord, I am tired. Please, let me rest in you." And then, leave the rest to Him. That is what faith is, not the effort to do something, but the courage to let go. And believe that someone is holding you when you can no longer hold yourself. Do not be afraid to let go. Because what God gives will always be greater than what you leave behind. And tonight, by the quiet stream, He not only wants you to find rest, He wants you to know something deeply important. You are worthy of love, even when you feel like you have nothing left to give. Because His love is not based on performance. It is based on your presence, simply that you are here. Breathing, longing to be close to Him. And now, as your mind begins to quiet down, you will hear it. Not a sermon, not a human voice, but the sound of divine presence whispering all around you. You are mine, and I will never let you go. That is not a fleeting promise. It is an eternal covenant. So, dear one, stay a little longer. Do not rush back into pressure. Do not let fear pull you out of this moment. Let the still waters keep doing their work. Let your heart be cleansed of the old things, so God can pour in the new. Things that are healthier, gentler, and full of grace. And then, you will see, even in stillness, even in the quietest nights, something sacred is happening. Right within you. Right now. Beloved, if something in you once broke, if a part of your soul lost its light, if your heart grew dry to the point where smiling became a struggle, then tonight, I want you to know, there is one who is relentlessly seeking to restore that part of you. He restores my soul. That verse is not just an old line on ancient paper. It is a living promise. It is the divine whisper your heart needs to hear at this very moment. Sit still for a while. No more holding yourself up. No more pretending to be okay. No more walking forward if your legs are tired and your heart has been torn by too many crossroads. God is not calling you to keep going in exhaustion. He is calling you to be restored. Restoration is not about becoming who you once were. It is not about patching together the pieces of a soul that used to shine. Restoration is a rebirth from within. A slow, sacred blooming of joy, life, softness, and peace, where you thought all was lost. You do not have to fix yourself. You do not have to do this alone. Because tonight, a holy hand is reaching into your soul. Into the place no one else has ever touched. The deepest, truest place. The place where you have hidden your wounds, your disappointments, and your sighs in the night. Maybe you have once said in your heart, "I am too broken," or "I cannot be healed," or "I have let God down too many times." But listen, my friend, God has never seen you as something broken beyond repair. He has never let go of you midway. To Him, you are not a failed project. You are an unfinished masterpiece. A painting still in progress. And He is still adding color. With love and mercy. And right here, in the night, in the darkness that seems hopeless, He is beginning the restoration. Do you remember a moment that silenced you inside? An event? A word? Someone who left without looking back? A dream you once held, shattered by one wrong turn? That is exactly where God wants to begin His healing in you tonight. Not by helping you forget, but by touching those places to bring healing. God does not walk past your pain. He steps into it. He kneels quietly and washes each wound like a father tending to his child. No blaming. No rushing. Just gentleness and patience. Restoration does not happen in noise. It happens in stillness. In permission. In the moment when you stop resisting your weakness. And allow yourself to be real. Real with your feelings. Real with your memories. Real with the broken places that still need healing. And then, something beautiful will happen. You will realize, God is not disgusted by the most painful parts of you. He loves those places most. Because the places that need the most love are the very places He chooses to stay the longest. Tonight, you do not need to hurry to get better. God places no deadline on healing. He only invites you into the journey. A journey where you do not need to be perfect to feel peace. You only need to let Him work. Little by little. Night by night. Like a warm breeze slipping through a slightly open window. Gentle, but just enough to awaken the life that has been asleep inside you. And if you are asking, can God restore something in me? I have lost so much. The answer is, yes. He can. And He is, even now. You will not live in dryness forever. Your wounds will not be your identity forever. There will come a day when you will wake up and realize what you thought was the end was really the beginning of something deeper, something more beautiful, something full of grace. Because God does not restore you just so you can survive. He restores you so you can live fully. So your soul can reconnect to its source. No longer disconnected. No longer silent. No longer shattered. And that begins tonight. The moment you say honestly to God, Lord, I am not as strong as I pretend to be. I need you. I cannot heal myself. Please, restore my soul. And I believe, the moment you whisper that prayer, something begins to move in the unseen. A light starts to shine from His side. A warmth slips into the coldest places in your heart. A new life, delicate, small, but real, begins to grow. This is what God does. He does not scold you for being exhausted. He does not push you to hurry. He simply says, stay here. I will restore you, bit by bit, for my name's sake. Dear one, when your soul begins to heal, God's next step is not to send you back into the life that drained you. He does not restore you so you can return to what once broke you. He restores to lead you forward into a new path. What Scripture calls paths of righteousness. Psalm chapter 23 says, He restores my soul and leads me in paths of righteousness for His name's sake. Pause for a moment and let that sink in. God does not patch you up and then leave you on your own. He does not say, now that you're okay, go figure out your life. No. He takes your hand. He guides you. He shows you the path. Not the easiest path. Not the most popular one. But the right one. The path that may not lead to fame, but will lead to peace within. Not to the crowd, but to the presence of God with every step. And the beautiful thing is, He leads you not because you are worthy, but for His name's sake. Because His very nature is faithfulness, and love, and righteousness, and the kind of grace that never gives up on anyone who calls Him shepherd. I do not know where you are on your life's journey right now. Maybe you are standing at a crossroads, and every direction feels scary. Maybe you are looking back at the road you've walked, and you regret how many wrong turns you made. Maybe you are simply feeling lost, unsure of why you are here, where you are going, or whether you are even on the right path. If that is you, you are not alone. We all lose our way at times. But the good news is, you do not have to find the way on your own. You only need to let God lead. And to be led, the first thing you need is not a map, not an answer, but trust. Trust that even if the path is narrow, Even if you cannot see what lies ahead, He is still going before you, scouting the way, clearing the path, guarding you from harm, and arranging each step. Imagine this. You are walking through a dense forest, where the light only reaches a few steps in front of you. But you are not alone. There is a hand holding yours. A hand that does not tremble. A hand that does not hesitate. A hand that belongs to the one who knows the way, who has led thousands before you through it, and who has never lost a single one who kept their hand in His. That hand is reaching out to you tonight. And He says, "You do not need to know everything. Just follow me." Maybe you are used to making your own decisions, finding your own direction, carrying all the responsibility. But now, after so many stumbles, perhaps it is time to relearn something. Obedience. Not as a burden, but as a relief. Because you no longer have to carry the weight alone. There is one who is good enough, wise enough, loving enough, to make the decisions for you. And He will always choose what is best. Not what is easiest, but what will lead you to true peace. The paths of righteousness are not always straight. Sometimes they wind through valleys. Sometimes they climb steep hills. But what they always have in common is this: He walks with you. And because of that, you can walk without fear. I do not know how many wrong turns you have taken, how many temptations you fell into, how many times you veered left when you should have gone right. But tonight, let me say this to you. God has never abandoned you because of those wrong turns. He has been patiently waiting for you to return. And when you do, He does not make you start over from zero. He starts again with you, right where you are. Whether you are standing in a field of confusion, or sitting in a valley, weeping quietly, He can still place His hand on your shoulder and say, "From here, I will lead you, not too late, not ruined, not beyond hope." You do not need to prove you are ready. You only need to honestly say, "Lord, I do not know the way. Please lead me." And then, let Him lead. Even if it means letting go of some things you thought were right. Even if it means ending relationships that are not rooted in peace. Even if it means turning from the easy path that does not bring life. Because what you receive in return is something no one else can give. True peace of soul. And I believe that is exactly what you are longing for. Not money. Not recognition. But peace. The quiet assurance that you are walking the right path, under the guidance of a shepherd who never leads astray. So dear one, if you are afraid, if you are weary, if you are standing at a crossroads filled with confusion, do not rush to choose. Sit. Pray. Let God restore your soul first. And once life starts flowing back into you, even gently, you will hear a soft voice rising from deep within. This is the way, walk in it. And then, you will no longer walk on shaking feet. Because you will know, the one who goes before you is faithful. And the one behind you is mercy. There will be times in life when we are no longer walking through green pastures, no longer sitting beside still waters, no longer hearing the birds sing or the breeze whisper. There will be moments when the road leads elsewhere. Into a valley, a low place, a dark place, a silent place, a place where light grows dim, where voices fade, and where even faith feels stretched to its limits. Psalm chapter 23 does not avoid this reality. It does not sugarcoat the life of faith. In fact, it says honestly, "Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death," which means that even when you belong to God, even when you walk in faith, there will still be seasons where you must pass through shadows. No one escapes it. And if you are in a valley right now, a dark season, a weary stretch, a silent pain, then please know this: you are not walking alone. God does not stand on a hill calling out, "Try harder, climb up here." He comes down to walk beside you. He walks step for step with you. He does not just know the path. He has walked it Himself. And now He takes your hand and keeps walking with you. The scariest thing about darkness is not just the dark itself, but the not seeing. In darkness, everything becomes uncertain. Even faith. the questions start rising. God, where are you? Why can I no longer hear you? Are you still here? And in those very moments, God does not shout from heaven. He whispers, like someone standing close, leaning in to speak quietly to your soul. I am here. Do not be afraid. I have never left you. You do not need to see him to know he is near. Sometimes, the strongest faith is not when we see signs and wonders, but when we see nothing, and still do not walk away. When we still pray, even when our hearts are aching. When we still whisper to God, even when there is no reply. When we still take the next step, even when every step feels like walking on uncertainty. Maybe you are in your own valley of the shadow, fearing the future, letting go of someone or something you loved, grieving a loss, a person, a dream, or part of who you once were. Maybe you are hurting so much, you feel nothing anymore. Too cold for tears. Too tired for words. If that is you, then hear this. You are not forsaken. God does not expect you to be strong in the valley. He only asks that you trust his presence. And he has promised, not that you will never walk through darkness, but that I will be with you. You do not need all the answers. You do not need to know when the light will return. You only need to take the next step, with him beside you. And when you tremble, when you fall, when you cannot go on, he does not leave you behind. He carries you, like a father lifting a weary child. He holds you close to his chest, so that his heartbeat becomes the rhythm that tells your soul, I am still here, I still love you, I will not let you fall alone. In darkness, you may lose a lot. Your job, your finances, your reputation, even people you trusted. But one thing you will never lose is the presence of the shepherd. And that presence does not only comfort, it protects. Psalm chapter 23 says, Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. The rod, to fend off enemies. The staff, to pull you back when you slip. Both are symbols of power and care. And you know what is amazing? When you have no words left to pray, no songs left to sing, it is his rod and his staff that are doing the praying for you. They're holding you up. They're keeping your soul from unraveling. You do not have to do anything. Just stay in the shepherd's hands. So, my dear friend, if tonight you feel like you are walking through the darkest valley, please remember, this is not your destination. The valley is something you pass through, not where you stay. It is part of the journey, not the whole story. And the light of God, even if you cannot yet see it, is waiting on the other side. You only need to keep going. One step, then another, with God by your side. And one day soon, you will look back and realize, in the darkest days of your life, you were not walking on your own feet. You were being carried by the one who never let you fall. Dear friend, if you are still walking through a dark valley, if the breath of fear is pressing against your throat, then I invite you to pause for a moment. Do not let the darkness make you forget. You are being held, not by your strength, not by sheer willpower or mental grit, but by something greater, stronger, and more enduring than any passing feeling. The keeping power of the Almighty. When your thoughts are tangled in the unknown, God is guarding your mind. When your sleep is torn apart by invisible worry, He sends angels to encamp around your home. And when you sigh into the night, unsure whether you will have the strength to face another day, there is an unseen voice whispering, I am still here, I am holding you. You cannot see it. But every time you did not fall apart, it was because a hand was holding you. Every time you did not collapse, it was because wings were covering you. Every time you survived something you still do not understand how, it was grace at work, keeping you. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. That verse is not just a religious symbol. It is a living picture of the protection you receive every day. The rod, to strike down your enemies. The staff, to pull you back when you wander. When you are small. When you are weak. When you can no longer resist. When you cannot tell what is real and what is false. It is the shepherd's staff that touches your heart and pulls you close. Not because you are strong, but because He is kind. And in the moments you least expect, when you think it is too late, too broken, too far out of control, that mighty rod strikes down every hidden scheme of the enemy. There are battles you never have to fight, because He fights for you. There are arrows you never even saw, because angels blocked them before they reached you. And in all the things you do not see, there is one thing God wants you to know with certainty. You are not alone in the dark. God did not lead you into the valley to abandon you. He brought you here, so you could learn something that light could never teach. That true love does not leave when it gets dark. And in every trembling step, in every short breath of worry, in every wordless sob, He is still walking beside you. Even when you cannot feel Him, even when you see no signs, even when your faith is so weak, you are afraid of your own doubt, He does not walk away. You do not have to carry the weight of emotion alone. You do not have to explain your confusion. He understands. He sees every hidden corner of your heart. And He still chooses to stay. The presence of God is not dependent on your stability. It is anchored in His promise. I will never leave you, nor forsake you. That promise does not shake when you are weak. It does not lose power when you are disappointed. It does not expire when you cannot pray. It stands, unshaken, eternal, strong enough to hold your soul together. And tonight, as you lay down with a heart still trembling from all that feels unfinished, please remember this. The darkness does not define you. The presence of the shepherd does. You are the one being held, covered, protected. Even if the world is shaking, even if tomorrow is uncertain, tonight, you are allowed to rest. Not because everything is fine, but because even in the dark, light is here, and it is right beside you. Let your heart relax, like a child placed in their father's arms. You do not need to hold it together. You do not need to force your way through. It is time to believe. You are resting in the hands of the one who has overcome the darkness. After the endless valleys, after the long nights that felt like they would never end, something miraculous is waiting on the other side. A table. Not a temporary shelter. Not a rushed escape. But a table, prepared with intention, just for you. And the most astonishing thing is, that table is set in the presence of your enemies. God does not wait until your enemies retreat to bless you. He does not wait until the problems go away to glorify you. He chooses to reveal His goodness right in the middle of the battle. Right in the eyes of those who doubted, rejected, and belittled you. He wants you to know. When He blesses, no one can stop it. When He anoints, no one can deny it. When He lifts you up, you no longer have to bow to the voice of shame or fear. That table is a symbol of honor in the storm. A divine declaration. You are mine. I chose you. I bless you, not because you are perfect, but because I am faithful. You do not have to pretend you are worthy. You do not have to prove you are lovable. You just need to come forward and take your seat at the table God has already prepared for you. And hear this clearly. That table was not thrown together in a rush. God is not careless. He is a God of detail. He chose every dish with care. He placed every cup, every napkin, like a father preparing for a beloved child who has returned from a long journey. He does not mention your weariness. He does not replay your mistakes. He only smiles and says, "Come now, my beloved. It is time for you to rest, and time for you to be honored." I know. You may still hear the whispers of the enemy, voices from the past, unhealed memories, judgments you once believed. But do not let the noise outside make you miss your own table. Because while the enemy watches, God is filling your cup. And He does not fill it halfway. He does not trickle. He does not hold back. He overflows. And you will see, His blessings do not just fill you. They overflow. They do not just heal you. They renew. They do not just repay. They multiply. Have you lost something? He restores. Have you been wounded? He anoints. Have you been spiritually hungry? He fills. Your cup is no longer empty. It overflows, to the point you cannot contain it. Because His grace is not limited by your situation, your emotions, or your past. His grace is free. It is powerful. It is abundant enough to spill over into everyone around you. Your family, your friends, your community. And do you know the most miraculous part? You do not have to wait for perfection to receive it. You are anointed while still in the chaos. Your cup is filled while you are still wiping away tears. Your table is prepared while the enemy is still near. Because the purposes of God are never delayed by your battles. He is the one who prepares a table in the presence of your enemies. To declare, "This is my child. This is the one I chose. This is the one I love. And no one can keep them from the table of my grace." So, dear one, if tonight you feel surrounded on every side, I invite you to stop. Do not keep running. Lift your head, look around. Perhaps, right now, while you are still resisting, still confused, the table has already been set. God does not invite you to fight the battle. He invites you to sit down. He does not tell you to win first, then feast. He invites you to eat, right in the middle of the battlefield. He does not say, "Be strong, and then I will lift you up." He says, "Sit down, my child, your cup is overflowing." My dear friend, there is a sacred act in Psalm chapter 23 that many read too quickly. But I invite you to pause for a moment and listen closely to this line. You anoint my head with oil? Oil, in Scripture, is more than a liquid. It is a symbol of sanctification, of being chosen, of healing, and of divine empowerment. When God anoints someone, He does not merely touch them, He marks them as His own. And the beautiful truth is this: you do not have to be a king or a prophet to be anointed. You only need to be loved. And you are. God has chosen you, not after you succeeded. Not after you became stronger than others. But right in the middle of your weakness, your weariness, your disappointment. He comes, holding the vessel of oil, and gently pours it over your head. As a quiet, eternal declaration, "You belong to me." That oil is not only fragrant, it heals the unseen cracks. The places in your soul that have ached unseen. The wounds you've hidden because you thought they are too ugly for God to touch. But He does not avoid them. He does not hesitate. He anoints the very spot that hurts the most, so that what was once broken and rejected now becomes the place of glory and restoration. And slowly, gently, you begin to feel it. Like a warm current flowing through every corner of your soul. A softening. A quiet peace that words cannot describe. That is His anointing oil. But the oil does not only heal, it empowers. When God anoints you, He is making a declaration to the unseen world. This is my child. The enemy cannot touch them. Darkness no longer rules here. My child will rise, walk in my guidance, and no one can stop what I have ordained. And then, once the oil has been poured, your cup begins to overflow. That cup is not something you fill by effort, nor something you must beg to receive. It is something God fills with His own hands. And He does not pour sparingly. He pours until it runs over. Because true love is never stingy. True grace does not measure. God does not count how many times you have broken your promises, or fallen, or doubted. He simply looks at you, with the eyes of a merciful Father. And He pours. He pours peace. He pours healing. He pours protection. He pours joy. He pours freedom. He pours new dreams. He pours hope again. He pours things you once believed were impossible. And your cup begins to overflow. Not because you held it tightly, but because there is simply too much to contain. That is the sign of someone living in grace. When you begin to testify of God's goodness without planning. When your words, your eyes, your very presence start to carry peace and life wherever you go. Not because you are special, but because your cup has been filled. And blessing cannot be hidden. And I want to tell you this, slowly and clearly. No one can stop that flow. Not the enemy. Not your past. Not criticism. Not failure. Once God has poured, no one can take away what He has given. And once you have been anointed, no one can erase that mark from your life. So tonight, if you feel like an empty cup, know this: God does not scold you. He does not say, "Why did you run dry?" He simply smiles, and He pours again. He pours until your tears turn into laughter. He pours until your burdens grow light as wind. He pours until you rise again. Not as the exhausted one, but as the one restored, recognized, and fully blessed. Because your cup has begun to overflow. After it all, after the valleys, the suffocating nights, the silent storms within, there is one truth God wants written on your heart. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. They do not go before you as tests. They do not wait at the end as rewards. They follow you, side by side, never leaving. You do not have to chase goodness. You do not have to strive to find mercy. God has not placed them out of reach. He has placed them right behind every step you take. Walking with you when you are weak. Remaining when you are ready to give up. When you fall, mercy is there to lift you. When you turn away, goodness waits, without reproach. When you lose your way, mercy gently pulls you back. When you feel abandoned, goodness whispers, "I am still here, following you." And the wonder of it all? Even if you cannot see it, they do not leave. Even if you struggle to believe, they remain faithful. Even when you are too tired to continue, goodness and mercy still follow. Quietly, patiently, without pushing or shouting, just staying near. Not only in your joyful days, but in your painful ones. Not only when you are strong, but when you are weak and undone. Not only when you feel worthy, but when you feel like you have nothing left to give. That is the beauty of unconditional love. God does not walk with you to count your prayers. He walks with you to prove that His love does not change. Even when your heart does. And every step you take, whether steady or trembling, leaves behind a trail of grace. Imagine this. Each step you take drops a trace of His goodness behind you. Each turn you make, mercy adjusts its direction to follow. Each night as you lie down, there are two things that do not sleep: goodness and mercy. They stand watch at your door. They kneel beside your bed. They whisper in your ear, "Tomorrow, I will still be here." And all the days after, forever. That is not just a promise. It is a covenant. And then, the psalmist ends with these words, "I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever." Do you see? Everything in life may be temporary, but the presence of God is eternal. You were not created to wander through worry. You were created to belong in the Father's house. Not a house built of stone and walls, but a dwelling of peace. A place where you do not have to pretend. Do not have to be strong. Do not have to earn acceptance. You only need to return. And perhaps tonight, through this prayer, through the gentle comfort of His word, you have already taken your first steps home. Not a home of this world, but the home within the heart of the Father. There, a room is prepared for you. A table is waiting. A seat bears your name. And there stands one with open arms, saying, "Welcome home, my child. I have followed you all the way here. And now, you may rest in me forever." So, dear one, lie back. Not in fear, but in faith. Not in doubt, but in assurance that you are never alone. Goodness follows you. Mercy surrounds you. And the love of God abides in you forever and ever.